On the debate, what do you think the stakes are? How important is this for former President Trump?
Well, I think it's actually more important for Vice President Harris, somebody who doesn't speak to the media, doesn't take questions. In fact, at the end of this interview, John, I will have done more interviews during this election cycle than she has since becoming the Democrat nominee for president. It is absurd that she does not take questions from the press, from the American people. And so I think this is actually a much more important night for her because it's so rare that we hear from her, that we hear her take questions, or that we know anything that she actually stands for.
On the debate.
Thank you very much. Beautiful. Comfortable. Oh.
Understand? I'm pretty sure you know.
Oh, it's gonna be good. We're gonna be good. We're gonna be fine. We're gonna be fine. We are all in this together.
Yes, we are.
We're gonna be fine.
we are.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
Thank you so much.
Huh? Thank you. Yeah. Did you get some spices? Oh, it's all good. It's all good. We're standing strong, right? We love our country,
Absolutely.
right?
We love our country.
That's right. Who's this? Is this a relative of yours or just a new friend?
It's a new friend.
Hi.
I'm
I'm
a lawyer in Pittsburgh here, and I just admire your work so much.
Good. What kind of law you practice?
Consumer protection.
Good for you.
I'm protecting consumers.
Good for you. You know, that's the work I did as AG.
Yes,
That's good stuff.
Yes.
That's really good. Of course. Come on. Let's do it. Come on.
Oh my God, I'm shaking. Someone take it. I did not get it. Can someone take it for me, please?
Who are the yellow jackets? Come here.
They're my school.
They're your school? What school is that?
Freeport.
Freeport? What's your name?
Charlotte.
Nice to meet you, Charlotte. I'm Kamala. Are you cooking also? What are you doing here? Or did you bring an adult with you? Or are you just hanging out?
How are you?
Can I have a hug?
Yes, come here. Of course. Aw. How's school going? Has it started? Yeah?
Uh-huh.
It's going well?
Yeah.
What's your teacher's name?
My homeroom teacher is Mr. Gaylott.
Mr. Gala? Okay, will you deliver a message to your teacher? And you're going to have to say the Vice President asked me to deliver this message. Okay, here's the message. Thank you for being a teacher. Will you do that for me? Okay, high five. There we go. Ah, you're good. You're a leader already. Come on. Yes, come on. Here.
This way. Got it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. You keep doing your work. You're doing really good. That's good work.
Charlotte, right here.
Yes, come on. Here's the tree. Woo! Got it. Parents in there. Come on, parents.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
We're doing it together. He's a teacher.
Yes.
You are a teacher?
Yes, yes.
What level?
7th grade geography. Social
bless
studies,
you.
yes.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
And you know Tim Walsh.
Yes. Oh yeah, that's great.
Come on, I got a picture. Come.
Boy, you just can't make that up, man. But like I tell y'all, man, we can't trust these polls, all this other stuff. And I'll be honest, right now, we're looking at everything. And especially the report we got this morning. Wow, Trump is skyrocketing. So this title is correct. Trump is skyrocketing right now in polls that had him down, that had this race tied, a tight race. But again, I just don't see how she makes it past 170. In the Electoral College, I don't see how she makes it past 170. But we got an amazing video forecast from election time. A couple of y'all sent to me, so we're gonna check it out. But again, we have to get out and vote, you guys. It has to be too big to rig, man. Too big to rig, you know. And again, we have the debate literally in a couple hours, so things are going to change from this. So we're going to do one more before this debate literally in a couple hours. So, boy, I hope y'all are ready. Make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new here. Shout out to the Keep Climbing family, them beautiful, hardworking patriots. My brothers and sisters, man, one love to the human race, man. And shout out to our new channel members that joined the channel membership. And again, we will send out tons of you guys merchandise gifts out today, and we'll be sending them out the rest of the week, the rest of the month, and next month. And again, we encourage everybody to go out and vote, you guys. Yes, indeed. Let's go and jump in, man. You just can't make this up, y'all. You just can't make this up. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I'm telling you. I don't see how she gets past 170. 170.
With Trump's comeback in full swing, a highly respected forecaster currently gives him a 62% chance at winning a second term. And today we'll be taking a look at Nate Silver's 2024 electoral map based on his updated forecast. Nate Silver was the head of 538 for over a decade and is one of the most well-known election forecasters out there. Looking at how the odds have changed for both of the major party candidates, Trump was behind Harris throughout nearly the entirety of the month of August, but he has now taken a significant lead and is the clear favorite to win the Electoral College. So we're going to start off on our map by filling in the safe states. These are states that Nate Silver gives Kamala Harris or Donald Trump a 99% chance or more of winning. And so starting off with the safe blue states on the West Coast, we only have California. We also have Illinois, and then in the Northeast, New York, Vermont, Massachusetts, Maryland, the District of Columbia, and that will be it. This will give her just 128 electoral votes. For Donald Trump, though, we have a significantly longer list of solid states: Utah, Idaho, Wyoming, North and South Dakota, all of Nebraska except the 2nd District, Kansas, Oklahoma.
And a lot of y'all say, Rick, why do you say, Rick, I know, and again, everybody agrees. I don't see how she gets past 170. But just look what has taken place, man. Look at the last 3.5, 5 years. Even look beyond that. Look at her record. And again, this upcoming debate, we mostly want to hear what she has to say, because we don't know what her policies are, what she stands for. She's been back and forth, backtracking, reversing. And I just don't see how people are clapping for this ticket. The Democrats could have did better, man. I'm telling you. They could have did better. And I believe, like I say, if things are done fair, history will be made. But we knew what happened in 2020 at 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, let me go. Y'all know I got to throw this out there before we get deep into it. I got to throw it out there. They caught them live on camera. Live on camera. Then that report came back and they said, oh, what was going on in Georgia? What was going on over there in Arizona? Oh boy. What was going on over there? And then everybody woke up and said, what happened when we went to sleep? And I ain't lying. ID, proof of citizenship in all 50 states. Just saying, man. And I want that 1 week voting, 1 day voting type of deal too. I ain't lying to you. Yeah. But hey, 81 million, he was as sharp as a tack. He was as sharp as a tack. It was a cheap fake, a deep fake. And now look, he's out the race. And now this lady just gave her finally gives an interview, a 18-minute, 40-minute, but it's 18 minutes after 40 days, pre-recorded, pre-tape. She says her values have not changed. Hiding from the press, ducking from interviews. That she declined the extra debates Trump offered her. She has headphones in. Can't answer questions. Has headphones in. I'm sorry, y'all. I just don't see how people are clapping and how this ticket goes for 170 in the electoral college. I'm sorry. I just don't see it, man. They're gonna really have to do some kind of rigging for that, man. I'm telling you. And that's why I say it has to be too big to rig, because we are not against a candidate. We are against a machine, a corrupt system. We encourage everybody to go out and vote, man.
Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, West Virginia, and Indiana, totaling 103 electoral votes. We'll now be moving on to filling in the likely states where either candidate has between an 80 to a 99% chance at winning. So these states will still clearly favor one candidate or the other, but they are going to be slightly more competitive than the states we've already filled in. Starting off for Kamala Harris, we have Washington and Oregon. Yes, she is going to win these states, but the margin is not going to be nearly as large as what we're going to see in California. California is going to go to Harris by somewhere around 20 to 25 points, while Washington and Oregon will definitely be in the 10 to 20 point range. We also have Colorado and New Mexico, two states that generally have been shifting to the left over the last 2 decades. Just look at the election of 2004. They both went to George W. Bush, but in 2020, Joe Biden won both Colorado and New Mexico by double-digit margins. Now, Kamala Harris is probably going to do considerably worse. She's probably going to win these states by single-digit margins, but she is nonetheless the favorite. While up in Minnesota, this is Governor Tim Walz's home state. Walz has given Harris a considerable boost here. If Tim Walz was not the Democratic vice presidential nominee, Minnesota would be significantly more competitive. But as of right now, Kamala Harris has an 84% chance of winning this state, a state that no Republican has been able to carry in a presidential election since 1972. Minnesota has the longest voting streak of voting for Democrats in presidential elections, longer than any other state on this map, because it's the only state that Ronald Reagan did not win in his 1984 landslide victory over Walter Mondale. As we continue moving east, we also have Connecticut and Rhode Island. These two states simply aren't as liberal as neighboring Massachusetts. We also have New Jersey and Delaware. Just fundamentally, they are not as left-leaning as some of their neighbors. Down in Virginia, we have a state that Kamala Harris is still slightly favored in. No Republican has won the state since George W. Bush in 2004. Joe Biden carried Virginia by a double-digit margin in 2020, but just 1 year later, a Republican, Glenn Youngkin, won the state's governorship. And so today, Kamala Harris barely has an 80% chance at winning. Her odds sit at 82.8. So on her map, she is going to be the slight favorite, but this is definitely going to be a key state to watch, as Joe Biden lost the lead in the polling in Virginia before he dropped out. This is a state that can definitely get more competitive in the next 2 months. We also have Hawaii, where the Biden administration's handling of the Maui fires has been very unpopular, and Hawaii generally is a state that is shifting to the right. In 2016, Hillary Clinton won it by 32 points, but 4 years later in 2020, when Joe Biden shifted the entire rest of the country in favor of the Democrats, Hawaii actually voted more in favor of Trump than it did in 2016. So Hawaii will also be likely blue. And up in Maine, we have the state as a whole, where Kamala Harris has an 85% chance at winning, while in the first district, her odds are just under 99. So the 3 electoral votes, 2 from the at-large vote and 1 from the first district, will all go to the sitting vice president. Before we continue,
I just don't see
only
it.
16.
I'm sorry, y'all. I just don't.
But honestly, if you look at this map, barely any.
I don't see 220. I don't see it. Sorry, y'all.
Any remaining states are going to go in for her favor. So we're now going to fill in the likely Trump states he has an 80 to a 99% chance at winning. And we're going to get the most obvious ones out of the way. I mean, Montana, Mississippi, South Carolina, and Alaska. There's no doubt these states are going to go to the former president for a third time in a row. He's probably going to win them all by 15 points or more. But on a fundamental level, they are slightly less conservative than states like Missouri, Wyoming, Indiana, or West Virginia. We do have quite a few more likely states for Trump, though, beginning in the Midwest with Iowa and Ohio, two states that Trump first flipped in favor of the GOP 8 years ago. Iowa, he won by 9 points, Ohio by 8. But in 2012, Barack Obama won these states by pretty considerable margin, so they really took a huge leap towards the right 8 years ago in 2016. Donald Trump has had a huge impact on the Midwest. I mean, this was the Midwest in 2012. Every single state was blue except for Indiana. Go back to 2008. Every single Midwestern state voted for the Democratic nominee. Now, this was a very good election year for Barack Obama and the Democrats, but in 2016, the election was pretty close, and Trump managed to win every single Midwestern state except for Illinois and Minnesota, and in Minnesota, he came so close to flipping it. And so Iowa and Ohio now are very Republican. In 2020, Trump won them by nearly the same margin when everybody expected these two states to be significantly more competitive. The Republican governors were reelected in 2022 by solid 20-point margins, and according to Nate Silver's forecast, Trump has a 95% chance of winning Iowa and a 97% chance at winning the Buckeye state of Ohio. So they're also going to be placed into the likely red category. We also do have Texas and Florida, a combined 70 electoral votes, two big prizes for Republicans. Now, in the past, Texas was still a red state. Just go back 4 decades. It's not voted for a Democrat since 1976.
Lone Star, baby.
Texas was actually solid red in 2012 in favor of Mitt Romney, but in 2016, Trump did a little worse, winning it by just under 10 points. And then in 2020, when a lot of people said Biden could win Texas, he still won the state. He won it by 6 points, a lot better than what many people expected. In 2024, though, there's no doubt Trump is going to win Texas by at least a double-digit margin. He really is doing very well in the state. Nate Silver gives him a 91% chance at winning. Yes, Texas generally is shifting more and more to the left, but that is going to take a very long time to actually come to fruition. Democrats are not going to win major statewide elections in the Lone Star State for a very long time, and by the time they do, basically the entire Midwest will have gone in favor of the GOP. States like Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania are all shifting more and more in favor of the Republicans, and so Texas will be likely red on our map. And the final likely state for us to fill in is Florida. This used to be a key battleground. This was a state that both parties really went after. But in 2024, probably the biggest change from 2020 is the fact that Florida is no longer considered competitive. And this makes things a lot more difficult for Democrats because there are really no big states that are a lot more liberal now than they were 4 years ago. But Florida is definitely a lot more conservative now than it was when Biden was elected president. Joe Biden lost Florida by 3.4%. He did worse than Hillary Clinton when most people thought that Biden was going to flip the state entirely. He lost it, and in 2022, Governor Ron DeSantis won re-election by just over 19 points. Florida is a red state, and that is why Donald Trump has an 88% chance at winning it for a third time in a row. The Sunshine State will be the final likely state, and now we're left with just a handful of states worth a total of 99 electoral votes. We're now going to fill in the lean states where Harris and Trump have between a 60 to an 80% chance at winning. So these are the states that really could go either way, but one candidate still maintains a slight advantage. And so we're going to begin by getting the two remaining congressional districts out of the way. Trump is the favorite in the 2nd District of Maine, while Harris has a slight lead in the 2nd District of Nebraska. For the vice president, though, she only has one remaining lean state on this map, and that is New Hampshire, 4 electoral votes, 4 votes that Hillary Clinton almost lost 8 years ago in 2016, when New Hampshire was the second closest state in the entire country, behind only Michigan. The Granite State today, though, does favor Democrats slightly more. Looking at the odds for Harris, she has a 70% chance at winning. That's good, but honestly not too great considering Trump has a 1 in 3 chance of winning a state he has never won before. We're now left with just the Big 7. It is these 7 states that is going to decide the outcome of this election. Some lean a little bit more towards the right, some a little bit more towards the left. but there's no doubt that these states can truly go either way and are toss-ups. And so we're going to start off in North Carolina, 16 electoral votes. Donald Trump is the slight favorite here. He has a 75% chance at winning 3 and 4. That is definitely very, very good, but it is not impossible for Harris to win. However, I would definitely argue that it's very unlikely she'll flip the Tar Heel state. Democrats have only won North Carolina once since 1976, and that was Barack Obama in 2008, which was a very, very good year for the Democratic Party. In 2020, everybody thought Joe Biden was going to win North Carolina. Nobody thought that he was going to do better in Georgia, which was seen as the more conservative state.
For the identity politics. We know. A very good year for the Democrats for the identity politics. The first black man president. And now what they're running off this year is first black woman, even if she isn't black. Yeah. Joy. We're running off joy. Joy and identity politics. They've all bashed her economic plan. Can't stand on what's her policies? Can she go off script? Can the lady go off script? So again, y'all, we look at these polls, we look at these maps and stuff, but I just don't see it, man. And we really do have to vote like we're losing, like we're down. I agree with you guys, man. We can't get complacent. I just don't see it. How she makes it past 170, 180, 200. I don't see it. Sorry. I believe if Joe was still in the race, he'll do better. Just saying.
Carolina, 1.3% was Trump's margin. It was surprisingly good considering the polling average throughout the entirety of the 2020 election cycle showed that he was going to lose. And so on our map, North Carolina is going to be the first lean red state. We also have neighboring Georgia, where Kamala Harris has just a 33% chance at winning. Trump's odds sit at 2 and 3. He's definitely the favorite to win back the Peach State, which Joe Biden won by a very narrow margin in 2020, 0.24%. This was the closest state in the entire country. This margin is just so small. I mean, Donald Trump doesn't need to do much to be able to win such a small portion of the electorate back. Kamala Harris is doing significantly worse right now in polling and just in terms of general enthusiasm compared to Biden 4 years ago. Joe Biden was destroying Trump in the polls. People thought he was going to win 350, 370 electoral votes. In the end, of course, he only won 306, but nobody is saying that right now about Kamala Harris. The few people that think that Harris is going to win, they're saying that she'll win, maybe 280, 290 electoral votes. It is very different from what we saw 4 years ago, and that is why Trump is in so much better of a position. He is always the underdog. He's always being underestimated. And so in Georgia, Trump has a 67% chance at winning. It's also going to be lean Republican. We also have Arizona, which very similarly to Georgia, voted blue for the first time in 2 decades in 2020 in favor of Joe Biden, but the margin was just so narrow. And according to Nate Silver's forecast, Trump has a 3 and 4 chance of flipping this state back as well, a state that he won by nearly 4 points just 8 years ago. So Arizona will also be lean Republican. And so before we fill in the Midwest, I'm going to start with Nevada. It has 6 electoral votes, and it is going to be a tilt state, which means that either Harris or Trump have between a 50 to a 60% chance of winning. So these are really the closest states, and according to Nate Silver's forecast, Donald Trump has a 59% chance of winning Nevada, so it's almost a lean state in favor of the former president, but as of right now, it will still fall into the tilt column. Kamala Harris can definitely still win Nevada, although she is the slight underdog there as of right now. But it's a state that no Democrat has lost since 2004. And looking at Trump's history here, he lost it in both 2016 and 2020 by over 2%. So it'll be difficult for him to win it. but he can definitely do it. Although in the end, it's not going to be the state that gets him over 270. Honestly, whoever wins Nevada is not going to make that much of a difference. It is going to come down to the Midwest in the three states of Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. I'm going to begin in Pennsylvania, as this is generally seen to be the most important one. It's 19 electoral votes. Probably could have gone to Joe Biden if he had stayed in. Joe Biden was born in Pennsylvania. He has that connection. Democrats don't have that anymore. And so Pennsylvania, if it goes in favor of Trump, even if Kamala Harris wins Nevada and Arizona, Pennsylvania will be enough to get Trump to the White House for a second time. And so as of right now, the good news for the Trump camp, though, is that he is the favorite. He has a 61.7% chance at flipping the Keystone State, a state that he did win in 2016, along with both Michigan and Wisconsin. So it's not even near impossible for him to flip all three of these states back. And so Pennsylvania will also be lean red. We're left with just Wisconsin and Michigan right now. These two states are both going to be very, very close. Kamala Harris choosing Tim Walz to be a running mate will give her a slight boost in Wisconsin, which generally is the most conservative out of the three states of Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. But with this boost that Walz gives Harris, Wisconsin is going to be slightly more competitive. In fact, Pennsylvania is probably going to be the most conservative out of the three this time around. And so now to fill in Wisconsin and Michigan to complete this map. For a while, Nate Silver's forecast had Kamala Harris in the lead, but today Donald Trump has taken back both of these states. Trump leads with a 52% chance of winning Wisconsin, and in Michigan, his odds are at just over that. Looking at the betting markets in Michigan, basically, we've seen a collapse for the vice president. She had a 2 in 3 chance of winning just half a month ago. Now, her odds are barely over 50%. And so both of these states, according to Nate Silver, now slightly skew in favor of the former president. And so based on his 2024 election forecast, Donald Trump is on track to win every single battleground state and get 312 electoral votes, while Kamala Harris
312, y'all. But again, I just don't see how she makes it past 200. Sorry. But we encourage everybody to go out and vote, man. 312. Boy. But, like, I agree with a lot of what all them beautiful patriots are saying. I just don't see how it's a tight race, how Trump's now, they say Trump's behind Kamala Harris. I mean, it's just crap, man. You know? And that's why it has to be too big to rig. And we knew what happened in 2020. Everybody went to sleep, and what happened? Whoa. What happened at 3 and 4 a.m.? You know, but we just that everything is played fair, and if things are played fair, I'm telling you, history will be made on this map. History will be made. Mark my words, man. Let me know what y'all think of all this, though. You know, as we have the debate literally in a couple hours, and again, things are going to change a little bit from this debate. So we're going to be covering it. We're going to bring you guys the best coverage and updates. We're going to keep it real, 100, no sugarcoating. I know some people don't like to hear. You know, some people's feelings get hurt when I say I don't see how she doesn't make it that she makes it past 170. But I'm just keeping it real. The Democrats could have got a better ticket. I'm just saying. The Biden it will do better than this. I'm just saying. She's worse than Biden. True. But hey, I love y'all. God bless you all and your families. And I will catch y'all in the next one. Peace and love, y'all.